How are you, Curtis?
I'm good, Rich. How are you? Sorry, you couldn't get a hold of me a minute ago. I was taking a little pit stop on Interstate 95. My apologies.
No problem. I don't think I want to get any deeper into the details, but I appreciate.
Please let me share.
Let's talk more about the birdies and pars and whatnot. What did you make of Patrick Reed's victory yesterday, Curtis? So much being discussed as to who he is and what excitement he engenders or not. What's your take on it, Curtis?
Well, as somebody who's done it, I like to see, and now talks about it, I like to see somebody break out. And, okay, he's not the most known person. Now he is. He's had a steady career climb from college golf all the way up. He is overcome. He's a survivor. I like to say he's a lovable villain a little bit yesterday because he beat Rory and Jordan Spieth and Ricky and all the ones that we thought would have a chance, and they did have a chance. But it doesn't stop a good young player like Patrick from beating them. They're not unbeatable. I admire his courage yesterday, although he did have a 3-shot lead, so he had some mistakes he could make and still win, and he did make a couple of mistakes. But the biggest surprise for me of the day was Rory and the way he played.
Why so?
Well, I thought he would put a lot of heat on Patrick. I thought, even though Patrick had a 3-shot lead, and I thought he would probably win if he just run the numbers. Roy, I thought, was extremely motivated. That doesn't make putts for you, but he seemed to be playing really, really well. He seemed to be putting well. And from the first tee shot going straight right shocked me, and he just didn't have it yesterday.
So, but Spieth did. Tell me if I should believe or not him saying he never looked at the leaderboard once until he holed out in 18. Curtis, is that possible?
I can't. I think it's almost impossible. They're on every green now. They're not the high tech flashy that we have on tour, but they're on every green, which I kind of like the old school too. They're on every green. How do you not look at the leaderboard? And if you can't, you got more discipline than I do. I loved looking at the leaderboard to see how I stood, but how everybody else stood. And I think you really, now in Jordan's case being so far back, it really didn't make much difference. But it does dictate how you play, your strategy on how you play, on how you stand. So, but anyway, what a round he had! My gosh, it looked like could it be? And then he ran out of holes.
Yeah, and then 18. That was a bizarre undoing on 18, Curtis. As I said at the top of the show, I've never seen in all my years of watching major golf, certainly at the Masters, somebody on 18 with a second shot 300 yards away. That sounds like something that would happen to me.
Well, when they put the tee back 40 or 50 yards 10 years ago or so, it really is a very narrow shoot. But let's don't think that the Mike Schmidt reached his glove out there and knocked Jordan's ball out of the air. Jordan's ball went up and kissed that limb. So Jordan kept acting like, where did that come from? Well, it was always there. So anyway, he dropped straight down. He's lucky he dropped straight down and then managed to, not make par. But, whatever the case, it was a hell of a round, a hell of a try. And his ability to play Augusta National, Rich, is phenomenal stuff. It's right there with Jack and Tiger, how he plays. And he doesn't have the longest game in the world. He's plenty long to be dominant in the world, but he's not the longest out there. He knows the golf course. He believes in the golf course, and he certainly can make all putts.
What was that golf course for you, Curtis?
What was it like?
No. What was that golf course for you in your career? The one that you just said, you know what, this sets up for me. I know every inch of this place. I'm going to dominate.
You know what? There was a couple that I liked. Houston was good. I liked Augusta, even though it was a little bit long for my game. I liked Augusta, and I like to think I played it reasonably well. But it makes you think. Augusta, when you left there Sunday night and then the next Monday morning, which is now, I was exhausted. I was exhausted because of the thinking you had to go on, not only off the tee, but second shots. You had to think exactly where you're going to miss it, where you're going to hit it, how can I get this below the hole because of the speed of the greens and then trying to putt the greens. I was never comfortable until the weekend because in the day they were faster than anything we'd ever seen. And then with the slopes, it was frightening at times. It was, you played such defense for 4 days.
So a couple more questions for Curtis Strange after the 2018 Masters. How sustainable is Patrick Reed's success, do you think, Curtis?
I think that all depends on him. I mean, when you reach the pinnacle or close to the pinnacle, some people, human nature lays back a little bit. We've seen it time and time again, but I think he's a little bit of a bulldog. I think he's a throwback. He's a tough guy. And I think he's going to progress. I know his teacher really well, and he's going to stay on him. And I think the way he's wound to be successful and to continue to push himself, I think he'll climb. Now, it's not going to be a fast track to number one in the world, but I think he will continue to try to improve and win his one tournament or two tournaments a year. And who knows? He's been in this major hunt before. He might win another one or two. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's give him some time.
And last one, how should we look at Tiger's performance this weekend, Curtis?
I got to tell you, I think we all look at it the same way. I think we expected a little bit too much. And I like to think, Rich, I was the voice of reason. I think we were asking too much early in the week. Could he win? Yes, he could have won. But was it realistic? Probably not. I thought if he played solid, finished top 10, it would have been a good week. He didn't seem to play well, strike the ball well, drive the ball particularly well the first 3 days. And yesterday left a good taste in his mouth. And I think when he leaves last night, I think he had a decent taste in his mouth because he shot 69 yesterday. He really seemed to play well. And we got to remember that this is all part of the comeback. 6 months ago, we didn't know if he'd hit another golf shot ever. So he's doing well. This is all 1 week of the comeback, and let's watch him progress if he does for the next 6 months.
Yeah, but hearing him say he wanted to go back into the gym certainly concerned me based on the history of overworking out, et cetera, et cetera.
We just don't know if, in fact, he does work out or any of these athletes do too much beyond what helps them in their sport. But that seems to be the norm now.
Appreciate you calling in.
You got it.
You got it.
Thank you, Rich.
You got it. That's Curtis Strange.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.